All right, we're going to be doing Leetcode number 209, minimum size subarray sum. What we're trying to do with this problem is find the smallest subarray, the smallest contiguous subarray in our input that adds up to a value that is greater than or equal to our target. So this is a sliding window problem. Anytime you see anything that mentions a contiguous subarray, you should think sliding window. Um, And what we're going to do uh, for this problem is we're going to need a couple variables to keep track of a few things as we're iterating. So we're going to need a window sum variable, a minimum length variable that's set to some large value right in the beginning, and then a start pointer. So once we have those things set up, we're going to create a for loop, and we're going to go over all of the items in our input array, which is called nums. This for loop will keep our end pointer moving, and our start pointer will be fixed until we um, meet some condition and increment it. So let's grab the element at the end pointer, which is going to be, we'll call it end num, which is going to be nums at end. Then we're going to want to add this to our window sum. And then what we're going to need to do is have some type of condition to check if our window sum uh, has met our requirement of being greater than or equal to our target. So while the window sum is greater than or equal to the target, we're going to want to start sliding our window. So we're going to want to grab our element that's at our starting pointer. We'll say start num equals nums at start. And we're going to want to subtract this from our window. I'm sorry, window sum. We're going to want to subtract this starting number from our window sum. And then we're going to want to increment our starting pointer. So with these sliding window problems, you're going to be typically doing one of two things. Either looking for a minimum size, minimum length, or a maximum size. And when you are using this template, you're going to want to look for the min, or do your min length calculation here. And I'll do some other problems where you'll see me finding a maximum length. And when you do that, you want to perform it outside of this while loop. So this is an important thing to remember when doing sliding window problems, is when you actually want to do your calculation. I could go in explaining why that is, but we're trying to keep this brief. So since we're looking for minimum size, we're going to calculate our min length inside our while loop. So we're going to say min length is going to be equal to the minimum of our current min length and our current window length. So end minus start plus 1 is going to give us the size of our current window. And once we do all that, we're going to want to return the minimum length if the minimum length is not equal to infinity, else return 0. So this here is called a ternary, and all this does is, this is why Python's great, it reads really nicely. We're going to return whatever value we have for the minimum length if the minimum length is not equal to infinity. If it is equal to infinity, we're going to return 0. So if the minimum length is still equal to infinity at this point, it means that no such subarray exists. And this never got updated. So let's give that a run and see what we got. All right, cool. It's slow, but it works.